Guys, I'm heading to a body shop right now because I put my car on Turo and the renter got into an accident. So I'm going to the body shop to get a quote. Long story short, Turo paid me out today and I want to go to the body shop to see how much they would charge to fix the damage out of pocket. It's honestly so frustrating because I don't know if like putting my car on Turo was a good idea. Hi.
Everybody, how are you doing, young man?
Good. How are you?
Very good.
It's over here.
You got the Liam Musk Rolls Royce. The Liam Musk Rolls Royce.
Yeah, this is it over here.
How did it happen? This?
So it's a Turo renter.
The worst motherfuckers in the world.
I know, but that's why I'm trying to do it out of pocket to see how much it's gonna cost me.
You don't own the car.
I'm the owner of the car.
But the customer that fuck it up, it's his fault, right?
Yeah.
It's because, you know, this is a big job.
What would we be looking at?
The quote is pretty fucked up and they got painted the door too. The door's messed up too.
Yeah.
They're fucking con artists.
Okay.
Yeah. All right?
Okay.
Call me. Thank you.
You.
Look,
Sure.
I'm gonna take it out.
I'm gonna get the estimate, and then once we get the estimate, they'll be able to make it work. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait to get the estimate from Tesla first to see how much Tesla is gonna charge, because it's looking like he saw dollar bills because everyone is trying to go through insurance, but I want to see how much it's gonna cost for me to be able to do it myself. This is so frustrating. This is my 2025 Tesla Model 3, and I've had this car for 577 days. But in those 577 days, I've only driven about 4,500 miles. And to be honest, 2,900 of all those miles were driven on Turo, because this bad boy has to make me some money. As you've seen at the start of this video, not only do I have a current insurance claim that I'm working through with Turo, but I just wanted to share, because when I bought this car, I did post a video. You know, it was a dream purchase for me at the time. So I want to tell you guys about, you know, the cost of ownership, how much this actually costs on a monthly basis, plus the insurance, how much am I making on Turo, how much does charging cost? And also, because I live in the New York City area, it's actually, I just realized that I don't really need a car as much. So I ended up putting this car on Turo. We're also gonna talk about the battery range, right? Like what surprised me. I did drive this car all the way to Stony Brook one time, which was probably about 250 miles away. And the car ended up like going and bringing me back on like 80%. And finally, I'm gonna help you answer the question that you're probably thinking. Is a Tesla Model 3 worth it for you? And honestly, if I had the opportunity to buy it again, would I buy it? But first, let me take you on a tour of my Tesla Model 3. This is the car, right? Like, starting with this, first of all, the car comes with this key, right? So you get this key, which typically I'll be able to open the car from using my phone, but I'm using my phone to record right now. So all you have to do is tap it on there and then the car opens. So the number one thing I would change if I was to buy this car again, I would consider picking another color, because I don't know if you guys see this. You see the scratches? These scratches right here are just from getting the car washed. And you know, when I first bought it, someone told me in the comments, like, make sure you get the paint protection film. I think it's called PPF. And I didn't listen. But if you look, I have all this little scratch. No, that's bird poop. But I have all these little scratches all the way. And I don't know if you guys see this, but I have a dent right here. And this dent is actually from the Turo claim, right? So we have this, right now, someone who rented my car had an accident. Like, he gave the car to his son to take to prom, and they had an accident, and I'm currently like working on fixing this. So that's a bummer. But overall, that's the one thing that I would say if you're considering buying a Tesla Model 3, just make sure that you pick another color, get payment protection, or wrap it, which once I get this fixed, that's like the number one thing I'm gonna do. I'm thinking about wrapping it in green. Now, in terms of benefits, when you're thinking about benefits for the car, I think this is one of the best things that you could have when it comes to having an EV, the frunk, right? Having this extra storage space, to me, it's like priceless, right? You get a lot of storage. I don't have anything here right now, but this is something that I would definitely consider a pro. This is also another pro. I think one really cool thing about this is not only do you get all this space here, you also get more space down there, right? I'm telling you, I can probably fit myself. And I'm a like 6 foot tall man. Yeah. So if I was to pick a color to wrap the car, this is definitely the color that I'm gonna pick. Just because like I feel like green just suits me, you know? I think when I think about green, I'm like, oh look, Donald is the guy with the green car, you know? But on a serious note, when you think about the cabin, right? I did hear that some of the new, like the base model, Model Ys don't come with the roof, which I think is insane because this is the standard long range, right? So it's a rear wheel drive. And for the longest time, when I was thinking about getting the car, I was like, maybe I should get all wheel drive, you know, because of like when it gets snowy and stuff. But honestly, like it was like way out of my budget. Some things that I didn't think I would get used to. An example is this. So if you look over here, when you want to, you know, move your thing to the right like that, typically you would have the actual stick, but this one you just have to press the button. So that's something that I had to get used to. Another thing was the gear, right? If you want to put it into drive, you have to swipe it like that. If you want to put it into reverse, that's what you have to do. And then you just tap to park. That's another thing that I had to get used to. But one thing I would tell you is like for the past year and a half, one of the benefits about having this car versus like other cars that I would have is I have not done any sort of maintenance. Like, you know, typically if you have a gas car, you have like oil change, you have all these other things that you have to do, like the plugs, the fuel pump, the fuel filter. Like, I haven't done anything. Like, I mean, it's also contributing to the fact that I literally haven't driven a lot of miles. But I mean, for the amount of miles that this car has been on, it's at this point pretty much still brand new. Take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt because I haven't really like stress test this car. So you have extra storage space over here. You have some cup holders over here. And then you also have a lot of space with here you do have a USB-C port right in there, but you also have, I don't know what that's called. I call it the cigarette lighter. You know, the thing that you can use like light your cigarettes. I have that over there. And then over here, you also have 2 charging panels, which I'm not sure how many watts they charge at, but I can tell you they're really, really good. Let's say, for example, I was sitting in front and somebody wanted to sit at the back. This is what that would look like, which I think is not bad, right? It's like, yes, my feet, but that's because I like to stay for comfort. Another thing that I also like is here, you also have a screen. So you have a screen at the back, which I think is pretty cool. And you also have all the controls and media, like everything can be done from here the same way it can be done from the front. This actually comes down and you also get 2 cup holders. You know what's actually interesting? I didn't know this existed. I just found out. It'd have been cool if there was like a freezer or something like that. But and this entire seat actually comes down just in case you wanted to put something longer into it. But yeah, pretty cool. I love the sunroof though. I'm sure like a lot of people say they get car sick when they're sitting at the back, especially in an EV. I'm not really a passenger princess, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, I'm gonna move on. This portion of the video is sponsored by my friends at Wonderboat AI. And honestly, it makes me a little bit sad because I haven't really been using my car to explore a lot. But speaking of exploring, let me tell you about Wonderboat. Picture this. You pull up to a supercharger and you've got 20 minutes to kill. And instead of just sitting there doom scrolling, you open Wonderboat right on your Tesla browser. It's an AI-powered local discovery app. You just tell it what you're in the mood for. Food near me, hidden gem coffee spot, date night restaurant, something to do near the supercharger. I like Ondo. It gives you actual good recommendations instantly, like a friend who knows the city, not just whatever Yelp is pushing. For someone like me who genuinely wasn't using his own car, this is the thing that's been getting me out. I'll be at a supercharger and next thing I know, I've got a whole plan. Let's go there. It works right there on the Tesla screen, no extra setup. Food secured. Excited to try Naya. Remember, go to wonderboat.ai to check them out. If you have a Tesla, it works in the browser, but they're also available on the App Store and the Google Play Store. But thank you to Wonderboat AI for sponsoring this video. And yeah, let's get on with the rest of the video. All right, so just finished charging, and looking at the app currently, it says from July 2025 to June 2026, I have spent $463 charging. I have saved $68 if I was to pay for gas. Now, this is almost 4,000 miles. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I do think this is much cheaper, because sometimes like I can charge the car and not have to charge for like 2 weeks. But again, remember, I'm not driving as much. Now, the great thing about Turo is any guests, so this is also included in this cost, because I feel like a lot of this have been guests. Any guests that I've had on Turo directly gets charged. So my card gets charged, but it's linked to Turo, so I get reimbursed for whatever they spend on charging. And every time a guest drops off the car, I always ask them like, oh, I'm gonna send you your bill. But when they get the bill, they're like, oh my God, this is way cheaper. And everyone wants to buy this car immediately after they use it. So charging honestly hasn't been crazy. I don't know how much ideally someone would spend on gas, but I don't know if you're driving every single day for like a whole week, I don't know if that's gonna be more expensive, but this is exactly how much. And honestly, it depends on the time. In terms of cost, it depends on the time that you come. So for this particular charge, to go from about 50-something% to 80%, which is recommended to charge to 80%, not 100%, except you're going on like a really long road trip, this costs $9.57. $9.57. All right, let's talk numbers. My lease is $423 a month, but I bought the car through my company, so the payments are tax deductible, and I locked in the $7,500 federal tax credit. For insurance, I pay about $220 a month, so all in, I'm at $640 a month. But here's where it gets interesting. You know, on Turo, I listed my car for rentals, and I'm averaging around $980 a month. That means after lease and insurance, this car is actually making me money. The one thing that kills me though, the New York City tolls. Congestion pricing has generally made me not want to drive into Manhattan, and some days the subway just makes more sense. But that's probably why I've only put about 4,500 miles on it. You need to also remember that a couple of those miles came from Turo. Now, range has never been an issue for me. It shows about 280 miles on a full charge, but this is the 2025 Model 3 long range rear-wheel drive, and realistically, you're looking at about 323 miles at 100%. And honestly, I've never been stranded. The supercharging network near me is really great. Now, would I buy it again? Honestly, this has been one of my favorite purchases ever, as a car and as a financial decision. If you're running a business and you're on the fence, honestly, just run the numbers and it'll probably surprise you. And I would choose an EV every day, all day. If there's any question about owning a Tesla that you want to know, just let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you brought some value. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the comments. But thank you for watching. Peace.